السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. ربنا زدنا علما اللهم فقهنا في الدين. اللهم إني أسألك علما نافعا ورزقا طيبا وعملا متقبلا آمين يا رب العالمين. So here we are with our session number 161 for Quranic Arabic grammar and session number 12 for Surah Taha, Nahu and Sarf. And inshallah, we are going to go over what we have covered in our last sessions. And inshallah, we are going to learn something new today as well. So with that, I'm inshallah going to start. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In our last session, we were going over the Arab of verse number 19. And we found that there was a Jumla failure there. Qala with Makulul Qawl, starting from Al-Fiha and ended with Ya Musa. And in that Makulul Qawl, we found Filul Amr. And if you all remember, the Filul Amr was Mabni Alal Hasfu Harf al Akhir. It was because if you remember, when we talk about Fail Madin and Fail Amr, in terms of flexibility or in terms of Arab, what do you think? Are they Mu'arrab or Mabni? What do you think? Mabni, barakallahu feek, yeah. So the ending does not undergo any change. In case of Felul Amr, it's the same form for Anta, no matter what is before it, it's not going to undergo any change. When it comes to Fel Madin, it also has fixed ending, therefore it is also from Mabni group of words. When it comes to Fel Mudare, in case of Felul Mudare, what do you think? Is it Morra or is it also Mabni? Is it is mu'arrab because its ending undergoes a change. It can be rafa, it can be nasb, and it can be jazm, right? Because the ending undergoes a change, in that case, you are going to treat that word as mu'arrab word. So mudare is mu'arrab, however, fi'l madin and fi'lul amr are mabni. And every fail has a file. I hope you are able to figure out the file in case of al-kiha. And then comes your jumla nida, and there was a harf nida with munada, and that was all about verse number 19. When you look at verse number 20 that we were going to cover today, and with that we will start a new topic as well. What do you see here? Al-qaha, I'm going to just ask you, al-qaha, what do you think about this? Start with al-qa. Al-qa, yulki. So family 4, fail madin, right? Again, we know that there is no change that is going to be happening to the end of a word um, that is fail madin. However, fail madin in a huwa form is mabni al fatha. We know that every fail madin has a fatha when it has inside pronoun huwa, like nasara, anzala, kataba, fataha, sami'a. All these words, what is the ending sound? How are they ending? They are all ending with a fatha, right? So a word that has an alif ending also has a fatha, but that fatha is going to be al fathatul muqaddara, assumed fatha that we are assuming and we are deducing from our qiyas, because we know every fail madin has a fatha ending, like when it has a pronoun huwa in it. So anzala, ja'ala, nasara, keep those in mind. And then if I asked you, what haraka will this alif be carrying? What do you think? Would you assume the haraka of this alif? You are going to tell me that it is going to be mabni alal fatha. Okay? The status of ha in this word. What is the status of ha? It is nasbin status because it is mafulun bihi. What kind of a sentence we are analyzing at the moment? Jumla fi'liya, barakallahu fi. فَإِذَا هِيَ حَيَّةٌ تَسْعَى. So we will skip these two words, and I want you to go over this one. What kind of a sentence now you're seeing? Jumla ismiya, barakallahu fiik. And if I ask you, what is hiya? In Jumla ismiya, hiya is going to be mubtada, and hayyatun is going to be khabru mubtada. right? What kind of a khabar are you seeing here? Mufradism, jumla felia, or jumla ismiya? It's a mufradism, barakallahu feek. So now I would want Sister Pfizer to hold off on typing, and I would ask the rest of the sisters, can you connect these two words, hayyatun tas'a? Is there any way you can make a connection? Barakallahu feek, Aisha, very well done. There is a mawsuf wa sifa. How are you sure that this is mawsuf wa sifa? What was there in tas'a that helped you determine that? If you look at a fi'l, yes, there is a hayyatun is a feminine ism, right? And it's a nakira ism. It's an ism that is nakira, barakallahu feek. Number one, hayyatun is a nakira ism followed by jumla fi'liya, fi'l mudari, and this fi'l mudari has damir mustatir hiya in it. Everyone agrees? Hmm? Now, if I ask you what is going to be the status of tas'a, I will keep it as Sifa because it's going to be then very confusing for some of us that, to analyze each and every verse because we're going to try to simplify things, but there are cases where there may be multiple ways you can do it. Yeah. But right now, because your hayyatun is commonism, there is no negation, there is no istifham, there is no hal before sahibul hal. um, there is no, does it meet any of the criterias where you can see, um, a hal, jumla halia for a communism? Is it among those, cases, among those cases that we have covered in the past, that if there is a negation, there is a question, if there is um, hal coming before the sahibul hal, all those cases, common sahibul hal is allowed. But does it meet any of those criteria? Let's see. And there's going to be a good review for that too. It's going to be, very hard to find in these summaries because I can. Um, it's so little that I can hardly see. So okay, I'm not able to, find out that slide yet. So, in the meantime, let's just continue for now, and inshallah, we'll come back to it. Okay, inshallah. Yeah, but if that criteria is met, and there a sifa mentioned before already for hayyatun? Remember, among those six criterias, if it is an atf, there is one word which is common and the other word is proper, then there is an allowance for common sahibul hal. If there is a istifham, if there is a negation, if there is a hal before sahibul hal, if there is a sifa, if a sahibul hal has a sifa that is specifying it, then it is allowed for a hal to be common. Do you see anything like that? With hayyatun, there is none of that. So we are going to call it the sifa for hayyatun, right? And tas'a has a pronoun that goes back to hayyatun. And the status of this sentence is fi mahalli raf'in, right? You guys already wrote it, right? The status of the sentence is fi mahalli raf'in. And if I come back to ask you, my dear sisters, what is the status of mudare by itself? What is the status of mudare in the mudare world? Not in ism world, it is going to be marfu. How is it marfu? Sister Shamim, tell me, how can you say that this is marfu? Marfu bid, is there any sign or is there, yeah, muqaddara. It is marfu bid dammatul muqaddara. There is an implied dhamma that we are not going to see with the words ending with alif, but in those cases we do i'rab that are taqdiri, that are assumed based on qiyas, based on our knowledge. We know every mudari is by default raf in status, and there is no reason for tas'a to be nasb in status, because in its nasb form, it's going to be looking like tas'a. It's the same. If it is jazm status, what will happen to tas'a? And I want other sisters, other than sister Faiza and Shamim and Amreen. What will happen if the fail was majzoom? What will happen to the word? Very well done. Very well done. Sister Zohra, Sister Zarina, very proud of you both. Yes, the ya is going to drop. Barakallahu feek, my dear sisters. Everyone, so far, everything is clear? Okay, now, if I take you to the thing, Qala alqiha ya Musa fa alqaha. Can I call it foul atf? He said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told Musa alayhi salam to drop it, the staff, and so he dropped it. So can I say that this is foul atf? It's giving you the tartib wa taqib. Then this fa can also be atf or istinaf, any one of them. Okay. But this iza, how do you translate this iza? Anyone went over the translation of this iza? Yes, Sister Faiza is saying it is translated as suddenly. Iza that you have been learning from the very beginning. From the very beginning of the course, the iza that you've been learning, how do you translate that iza? Very well done, Sister Salma. Wow, very well done. So the one that we have been learning so far is translated as when, but this one is a strange one, is a new one, came with a surprise for us, right? For some of us, it is a surprising word, right? This is a new word that we are seeing today. So today, your class was on Anwa'u Ida. Okay, we were going to go over this Ida Fujaya. Have we ever learned any harf that is Fujaya before? Is Fujaya. And that is it translated the same way because Fujaya has the same meaning, right? Nagahani and something that comes on suddenly, right? When you were learning is Fujaya, was it an ism or a harf? Let's see here. Was it an ism or a harf? It was a harf. La mahalla laha min al-i'rab. Right? Now, the same is the case with your iza fujaya. When you are going to see your iza fujaya, it is also a harf. Everyone with me so far? Iza fujaya is a harf. It is going to be la mahalla lahu min al-i'rab. Ida, that is translated as when, is a zarf, and a zarf is an ism. And Ida al-ismiya is going to be fi mahalli nasbin because it is a zarf. It is usually, it is 99% of cases, it is shartiya and it is muta'alliq to its jawab. It is muta'alliq to its jawab. And we will come and do it and we'll understand what does that mean. Okay? Okay. Iza al-harfiya, you are not going to see it in the beginning of the kalam. Do you see this iza in the beginning of your sentence? And sentences don't go by sentences. You are just going to, have to understand this. In Arabic, sentences may be 4 verses. So keep that in mind too. So understand it correctly. If you don't understand, type 1. Okay. So he threw it, then suddenly it was a snake that was moving rapidly. Huh? So this is found in the middle of the sentence. The iza that you have been learning throughout the course, which was shartiya, where do you normally see that iza? Beginning, right? وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمْ لَا تُفْسِدُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ قَالُوا إِنَّمَا نَحْنُ مُصْلِحُونَ. Right? إِذَا. And this is also إِذَا. It's a beginning of the kalam. So one thing ended, and then there is another kalam that is beginning. It is going to be the beginning. It is going to be seen at the beginning of your kalam. It's going to be the beginning of a sentence, kind of, right? Is this clear to each and every one of you? If it is, um, I hope we can continue then. Okay. This one is never going to be seen in the, you are not going to see a sentence starting with izaf al-harfiya. What did you learn about iz al-harfiya? Was it in the beginning of the sentence? Or it comes after something? Is also comes in the middle. It comes after baina wa bainama, if you remember the hadith Jibreel. So there are going to be first a whole story in, it's not going to be at the badayatul kalam. It's also going to be in the middle. The same is the case with ida, that is al-harfiya and fujaiya. Okay. Yes, baina wa bainama are the clues to is al fujaiya. Okay, if your kalam, your hadith will have baina or bainama. Okay, so now the third thing, the translation is different. Iza al ismiya is translated as when. Iza al harfiya is translated as suddenly. Iza al harfiya, it is a harf, therefore it cannot be mudaf. But when you see Iza al Ismiya, what do you think? Can it be mudaf? It is mudaf. It is always mudaf. Okay? Iza al Ismiya is going to be a mudaf. Always. If you all understand this and are going to be able to tell me in the next session all these properties of Iza al Ismiya type 1. I want you to be awake in today's session. Iza al Harfiya is going to denote the hal. Like, isn't it, telling you the condition of that staff? Yes or no? How many of you agree that this is yaka yak? Suddenly, it was a serpent. When it comes to iza al-ismiya, it denotes present future tense, even when it is followed by fi'il madin. You all were taught this, yes or no? And if you remember this, make sure you keep revising this concept. No matter what comes what comes after iza, it's always going to be translated as present future. Okay. Can it also be translated as a past tense? What did I tell you when I was teaching you is? Absolutely, absolutely. And please do not forget this concept. Why? Because sometimes iza and is can be used interchangeably. Okay? Iza and is can be can be used interchangeably, so it can also sometimes denote past. Everyone understood this? It has dawam, it has istimrar. Keep that in mind. Okay? It will, whenever you see the verses, whenever they are told, do not cause corruption in the land, they say, we are only the reformers. So what kind of a meaning are you getting here? Is there a connotation of dawam and istimrar, that this action is happening again and again and again? They do it not once, but many times. Huh? Okay. Alhamdulillah. So, so there is istimrar, there is dawam in it. And always remember, please don't make any ruling universal or absolute. There is always going to be some rooms for exceptions. And if you understand that, it's going to be easy for me to teach you, inshallah. Okay. There are always exceptions. So we have always been taught that no matter what comes after iza, it's going to be translated as present future. But no, it has been used for events of the past. It has been used to denote the past. And why so? Because there is a takarud. And takarud, qaf, ra, dad are the root letters. Qard, they borrow from each other. What is qard? When you take loan from somebody, right? Qard is a loan that one takes from somebody else. So the iza sometimes borrows from is, and the vice versa. Remember? There was a verse that I showed you, pointing to denoting the event of Qiyamah, and is this used there, right? So they can sometimes be used interchangeably. I hope this is clear. When you learn about iza, it is a harf and it enters jumla ismiya. Is this jumla ismiya that you see it entering? Everyone agrees? Okay. The iza that you have been taught all along, always, which is itself al ismiya, iza al ismiya enters jumla failure. Always enters jumla failure. What am I saying? Iza al ismiya will always enter jumla failure. Sometimes the fail is mentioned, like I can tell you here, iza balagha. So fail madin is mentioned after iza, everyone can see. Sometimes the fail may not be mentioned, like you can see here, iza shamsu kuvirat. Can this iza be iza fujaya? The verse is the beginning of Surah Takbir, is the beginning of Surah Takbir. So can this be iza fujaya? It can never be. I am telling you today that iza al-harfiya is followed by jumla ismiya. Iza al-ismiya never enter jumla ismiya. It always has a jumla fi'liya after it. So what happened here? You are going to see iza, after which fail may be malfuz. Malfuz means it has been mentioned there, like balagha. And it may be mahzuf, may be omitted, as we assume here that there was إذا كبرت الشمس. This كبرت was actually after this إذا and it has been omitted. Are you getting my point? Everyone is getting my point? That there is كبرت twice. إذا كبرت الشمس كبرت. If I am saying that this verse is telling me that there is إذا كبرت الشمس كبرت, what kind of a sentence kubirat is going to be? This sentence kubirat is going to be what kind of a sentence? And remember your ishtighal. When you were learning about ishtighal, was-samaa rafa'aha, right? The fail after it, no, you don't have a. My dear sisters, keep in mind, tawqeed is when something is repeated. It cannot be tawqeed. Do you see kubirat before and then after there is another kubirat? If that was a thing, I would say your answer is correct. But there is no kubirat mentioned there. It is hidden. It is mahzoof. I'm implying it to be there. If it was already there, if it was mentioned there, then I'm going to call the second kubirat as jumla muakkida. Okay? But I cannot call it that. I cannot call it ta'liliya. It is not giving me the reason. Is it giving me the reason of why the sun is going to fold? No, it's not. Hmm? But is it giving me the, is it uncovering? Is it clarifying for me the mahzoof fail? Yes or no? It is clarifying that there is a fail that has been omitted from here, which was kuvirat. Therefore, it is going to be إذا كبرت الشمس كبرت. Okay, you are going to understand it like that. Why so? Because if you don't understand it like that, you are not going to get the complete understanding of Ida al-Ismiya that you are going to come across in Quran time and again. Who is with me so far? I know it's a difficult concept, but that's how life is. When you are in a class like who's conducted by me, then you expect all this. Huh. So it is, yes, it is going to be kubirat is going to be jumla tafsiriya. So Do you get my point? When something is mentioned twice, my dear sister, call it tawqid, muakkida. We called inna ma'al usri yusra because there was a repetition. But here there is no repetition. Huh? Is there? There is no repetition, therefore we are going to call it tafsiriya because it clarified for you what was hidden there, what was has been omitted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes or no? Everyone understood it? Allah omitted something and then He clarified as well. And that's how He is. He is a latif and he does things very subtly and He has the beautiful ways of uncovering the veils from different things, right? So keep that in mind. Now, if I go on to this one, إِذَا النُّجُومُ كَدَرَتْ. إِذَا النُّجُومُ كَدَرَتْ. Can this be Fujaiya? No, and it cannot be Fujaiya. Again, I kept all the verses here just so that you practice when because I knew that this is is a hard concept. We have to spend time on this. So that's why instead of just, I was first of all removing some of the verses. So, I was keeping the first and the Jawabu shirt after it. But then I said that, it's going to be very hard to, just tell you it in one go and then expect you to understand it right away. So that's why for practice I kept everything. So again, you are going to assume that there's a sentence after iza which was in kadarat and that has been omitted. And again, it is going to be in kadarat is going to be jumla tafsiriya, and this is as Sister Shamim is saying in Barakallahu Feek, it is going to be matuf ala ma qablaha. Okay, again, iza al jibalu suhirat. Can I again call this iza fujaya? No, I cannot, right? It is again starting a new topic. It is also again starting a new kalam, and it is iza jibalu sujirat. So what has been omitted from here after iza sujirat has been omitted? So wa iza sujiratil jibalu. Sujirat. Wa iza sujiratil jibalu sujirat. And then I'm going to call this sujirat as jumla tafsiriya and so on and so forth. And then I will come to the answer of my alimat nafsum ma akhdarat. Jaan lega har nafs that he presented. So this is your jawabu shart. What will be the status of this alimat nafsum ma akhdarat? La mahalla laha min al-i'rab. Barakallahu feek. Very well done. Very well done. What's going to be the status of ash-shamsu kuwirat? Is it jazm or is it a... No. I'm talking about ash-shamsu. I'm not talking about the whole sentence. If you're going to take the whole sentence, it is ibtidaiya, then it is going to be la mahalla lahu min al-i'rab, and ash-shamsu kuwirat is going to be jar in status because of idha, because it is a mudaf ilayhi for idha, right? Everyone with me so far? Fi mahalli jarin? Very well done. Everyone clear? If I have to connect iza and its jawabu shart, alimat nafsum ma akhdarat. When will every soul will know what he presented? So what is iza answering for you? Can I call this mutalik bil jawabu shart? My question was how I am going to connect this with this. What is this Iza Shamsu Kuwirat answering for me when I look at this Alimat Nafsum Ma Akhdarat? Sister, where are you seeing Qasam? So it's a shart, right? So Alimat Nafsum Ma Akhdarat is your Jawabu shart, right? So if I have to connect Alimat Nafsum Ma Akhdarat with Iza, What is the role of إذا in this sentence? It does not have to be there. It is jumla failure. It's going to be متعلق. It's going to be your متعلق بالفعل علمت. متعلق بالفعل علمت. إذا is going to be also labeled as متعلق بالفعل علمت. How many of you have understood this? I see Sister Shamim got my point. What about the rest of the sisters? So every time when you have a fail and you have a zarf as your adwatu shart, you have zarf as your adatu shart, remember that zarf is mutalik bil its jawab. Because you know you have a jawab for that shart, jumla shartiya, which was alimat nafsum ma akhdarat. It's always going to be, you know, if there is a zarf, for example, just lamma, with lamma, when we were practicing lamma, we learned that concept at that time too, that lamma is muta'alliq bil its jawab. So let's see here. وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمْ لَا تُفْسِدُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ قَالُوا إِنَّمَا نَحْنُ مُصْلِحُونَ. So when do they say this? That we are the ones who are reformers. They say we are only the reformers. We are the muslihun. We are causing the reformation. When do they say this? Who can answer this for me? Yes, so this Iza answered your when question. So when you have a zarf, you can either call it with maf'ul fihi or you can call it muta'alliq bil, right? That's how you have been taught. So this can be muta'alliq bil. This إذا قيل لهم لا تفسدوا في الأرض can be muta'alliq bil fil qalu, right? And إذا is mudaf and it is fi mahalli nasbin because it is mabni. It's a mabni ism, mabni ala sakun. It's a zarf, it's fi mahalli nasbin muta'alliq bil fil qalu. Do you want more practice of this, or are you still confused, Sister Afshan, Sister Zarina? Are we all good? Hmm? Yeah, it is, you know, you have to go back to the recording and you have to go over the sentences that we have covered in our session number 80, around 79 and 80. And at that time, I tried to, you know, explain these things that, you know, how in this case, one part of the shirt is actually giving you that when the zarf is your condition adatu shirt, it is going to be mutalik bil jawab, and it is in this case. Okay, so inshallah we'll keep on practicing, just like, you know, because this idha qila lahum la tufsidu is answering your when do they say, you know, when are they doing this. So wa idha laqul lazina amanu qalu amanna. If I see, when do they say, you know, amanna? So this إذا لقوا الذين آمنوا, when they meet those who have believed. So this is giving you the timing when they say قالوا آمنا, right? So this is going to be, this إذا again is going to be متعلق بالفعل قالوا, right? Yes. No. قالوا. It's going back to قالوا. They said, and آمنا is just simply the مقولul call. Okay. So yeah, and inshallah, I hope that we are able to do more practice, but I think I have to, you know, go on and teach you something else as well, and along with this. So how many of you are now going to be able to figure out ida, that is ismiya, and is shartiya? How many of you is now going to be able to not call it iza fujaiya? But you know, if you are able to memorize slide number 1, I think this job is going to be super duper easy. is going to be super duper easy. How you are going to put more and more i'rab is the next step. But I think if you understand these few points, this is going to be very easy. If you have truly understood, like, you have made your concept, how, how this nerve goes through this and this and this, and that is why if injury occurs on this part of my body, it's going to affect this nerve of my body. If I have made those concepts, it's not going to be hard for me to apply that. Okay, so same is the case going to be with iza al ismiya and iza al harfiya. The last point that I want you to go over with me is, so iza al ismiya, as I just mentioned, and we have gone over it together in few of the verses. Um, it is adatu shart ghair jazima. Everyone remembers that we were covering when we were covering shart, that there are adwatu shart that are going to be ghair jazima. Okay, so among the ghair jazima, we found no, this is on the wrong slide. Here somewhere I may have here iza, lamma, kullama, and then among the haruf we have laula, lauma, amma, and low, right? You remember? Once upon a time we did that. So where was I? Okay. So when it is one of those adatu shart that's not going to, have a jawabu shart that is jazima. You all understand this? I'm never going to call its jawabu shart fi mahalli jasmin. Can I ever call it fi mahalli jasmin? It's jawabu shart. It can never be called fi mahalli jasmin. It's always la mahalla lahu min al-i'rab. It's always going to be la mahalla laha min al-i'rab. Okay, jawabu shart for adwatu shart ghayr jazima. Those sentences are always la mahalla laha min al-i'rab. Okay, so keep that in mind. When I have something starting with in, ma, man, and there is a faw rabita or izafu jaiya, in that case, I'm going to see jawabu shart that is fi mahalli jazmin. Only in the case when my shart particle is jazima, only when I have jawabu shart beginning with either fa or izafu jaiya. All along, I have been telling you that we have not covered izafu jaiya, but now I don't have no longer have to say that we have not covered izafu jaiya. Everyone is with me so far that there is something in Arabic grammar which is called izafu jaiya. Iza al ismiya is going to be in need of jawabu shart. Okay, and it is always going to be muta'alliq bil jawab, as we have covered. That is, it's answering your when question, right? According to some grammarians, sometimes idha al-ismiya is ghair shartiya. Okay? It is still gharfiya, it is a noun of time, but it is ghair shartiya. If it is ghair shartiya, then you may not need jawab. Do you think that makes sense? Yeah. So when you see it in certain cases, like, وَالْمُوفُونَ بِأَحْدِهِمْ إِذَا آهَدُوا. This إِذَا آهَدُوا, how can you label it? My dear sisters who have learned ism file as a fail, start jumping on the answers. So how will you label this إِذَا آهَدُوا? And they fulfill their promise when they make a promise. So it's going to be متعلق bil ismu file, right? You can call it muta'alliq bil ismu file, mufuna, right? Mufuna is ismu file. You can call it muta'alliq bil ismu file. وَمِن شَرِّ حَاسِدٍ إِذَا حَسَدَ. So if you remember Surah Al-Falaq, I'm sorry I did not have the whole surah for you here. So إِذَا hasad, when he starts to be jealous, when he starts, having hasad. So this إِذَا is going to be muta'alliq bil what was before it, right? So here, according to some scholars, you don't have to look for jawabu shart, and this is just zarfiya ghair shartiya. Okay, is it clear? Then according to the in the last verse, إِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِي أَنِّي فَإِنِّي قَرِيب. So this is إِذَا starting a jumla shartiya, and this is going to be إِذَا harfiya or ismiya. What do you think? Ismiya, zarfiya, right? Mudaf, right? And sa'alaka ibadi anni is going to be, it's mudaf ilayhi fi mahalli jarrin. Fa inni qareeb, and this is fa rabita inni qareeb is going to be jawabu shart, right? And ujibu dawat da'i iza da'an. So ujibu dawat da'i iza da'an. I respond to the call of a caller when he calls me. Well, how am I going to label iza? I'm going to call iza as mutalik will ujibu. Barakallahu fi. And I can treat it as a ghair shartiya. But is it possible that some say that this is not ghair shartiya and this is also shartiya? Do you think there can be a possibility that there may be some Nahu scholars, they say that this is also shartiya and there is no such thing as ida al-ismiya ghair shartiya? Yes, there is a possibility, and you may find it being labeled as um, iza shartiya, zarfiya, and then jawabu shart, ma dalla ma qablaha, the whatever is before it is pointing to the jawabu shart, but jawabu shart itself is mahzoof. Have we seen cases where jawabu shart can be mahzoof? Who remembers? Alhamdulillah, we have covered that in our course as well. So what are those two cases when your jawabu shart can be omitted? The one case is when it can be understood by the concept, by the context, not the concept. The context tells you and guides you towards jawabu shart. It may not be there. Okay, it does not have to be there. The number two condition where you may find it being omitted is when your jumla shartiya is, when your felu shart is fail madin. Is the a fail madin? Yeah. Hasada fail madin. Ahadu fail madin. All those are right answers, right? So all of them are madin as well. So keep that in mind. Okay. So that is why I want you to be very well familiar with each and every concept. Okay. So now the last part, and I'm very happy that I just spent my time on Izal Harfiya, though I had one more part to go over, but and we'll see how it goes. But inshallah, we have time, life permitting, inshallah. So we know Iza al-Ismiya is going to set a condition. It's going to be at the beginning of our Jumla Shartiya. Right? Everyone with me? When it comes to Iza al-Harfiya, number one, it does not need any jawab because it is never going to set a condition. Right? You understand this? However, it is seen with jawabu shart. It is seen, instead of being seen as adatu shart, it is a particle that is seen with jawabu shart. Are you with me? So here, let's see a few examples. It takes the place of fa'u rabita sometimes. It is seen with jawabu shart. It can be seen with jawabu shart, and it is going to be taking the place of fa'u rabita. So let's see how it's going to happen. وَإِن تُصِبْهُمْ سَيِّئَةٍ بِمَا قَدَّمَتْ. And if an evil reaches them because of what they sent ahead, they sent forward, إِذَا هُمْ يَقْنَطُونَ. Suddenly they become hopeless. So what are we seeing here? إِذَا. We are seeing here إِذَا. What kind of إِذَا is this? Isn't it in between? It is coming as it is coming as a jawab for in, which is jazima, shartiya. All agree? Right? The mudare majzoom after it. And now I have to look for my jawabu shart. And idahum yaqnatun is my jawabu shart. How many of you have disagreement to that? Who disagrees that this idahum yaqnatun is not jawabu shart? You all agree that this is going to be the jawabu shart. It makes sense? They certainly become hopeless. Now, The next step is this iza is not this iza, right? Al ismiya. This is al fujaiya. I'm translating it as suddenly. It is between my shart and jawabu shart. This is not at the beginning of kalam. This is between, it is making a connection between my shartiya jumla and jawabu shart. So I'm going to call this ida fujaiya. What will be the status of hum yaqnatun, which is jumla ismiya with hum mubtada, yaqnatuna, khabru mubtada. What? 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 This is ida fujaiya. Guys, wake up. Iza fujaiya. Whenever your jawabu shart has faw rabita or iza fujaiya, always your jawabu shart is going to be fi muhalli jazmin if your adatu shart is jazima, right? Huh? Understood? Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Now one more, and then I hope we will be able to call it a day. Okay, now see this one. Now see this one, and it's going to be super duper easy. And then and now start, go to Surat Rome. These are all examples. Most of them are from Surat Rome. So please, today, if you can go and see Surat Rome and find out examples of Iza Fujaiya, and throughout Quran, try to find out at least 5 examples. And YouTube, when I post my YouTube, post it in the comment section. Okay, do that, inshallah. So إذا دعاكم دعوة من الأرض إذا أنتم تخرجون. So now, what is this إذا? When he calls you on with a call from the earth. شرطية, ظرفية, متعلق بالجواب. Right? متعلق بالits جواب. And now, suddenly, you all start to, expel. إذا أنتم تخرجون. So what is happening here? This إذا is إذا that is connecting jumla shartiya with jawabu shart, and is going to be إذا فجائية. Then comes إذا أصاب به من يشاء من عباده إذا هم يستبشرون. So what is happening here? Two sentences connected through Iza is Fujaya. In these two cases, do I have to call these two sentences fi mahalli jazmin? Can I ever call them fi mahalli jazmin? Look at Adatu Shart. You guys are today in a different world. I cannot call it because my condition particle is not jazima. It is ghaib jazima, which is iza, right? Why would I call it fi mahalli jazmin? I can call it fi mahalli jazmin in this case in tusibhum sayyi'atum bima qaddamat aydihim, because my adatu shart was jazima. Iza is not jazima, it is ghair jazima. Okay? Eat badam. And actually you all need good sleep. And for some of you, I can tell you guys don't sleep. No, it's not just the revision. It's you guys. Some of you don't sleep. You are either, conducting classes, or you're too involved in things. So please make sure you get good sleep, eat properly, and do the practice as well. Yes, a lot of practice, revision. Yeah. So is this clear to each and every one of you? Okay, Alhamdulillah. So I think that was about Iza. And I never I have taught Iza Fujaya before, and that was always a very painful topic for me. The reason being, when it I would see Iza Shamsu Kuwirat, it is it seems like a jumla ismiya to me, right? Ash-shamsu mubtada and kubirat khabar. But now I know by what I have taught you, it cannot be iza fujaya, because iza fujaya will never be seen in the beginning of the kalam, right? You understand that? That it's never going to be in the beginning. It's going to be connecting one sentence with another sentence, or it's going to be in the middle, just as you have seen it. فَأَلْقَاهَا فَإِذَا هِيَ حَيَّةٌ تَسْعَى, right? So make sure, find the examples of iza hujaiya, and also make sure to find some examples for iza al ismiya with fail mahzoof, okay? And I can respond to you, if you leave it in the comment section, I will respond to you if it is right or wrong, okay? So that is a little bit about your iza, okay? And make sure to go over it, practice it, and try to understand it. I think whatever we have gone over in terms of fa, so this is a beautiful slide that my dear sister has created, and may Allah bless her for immensely, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give her a beautiful house just like the house of Khadija, a house of pearls where there is no tiredness, there is no forgetfulness, there is no problem. Inshallah. So, and she does not, and she remembers all her grammar there as well. Okay. Inshallah. So, I'm someday I'm thinking that, what will I want to do in Jannah? And I think I'm going to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, make me a teacher in Jannah. I want to teach all the Jannites Arabic grammar, because I want to do it all over again, inshallah. So, okay, now let's see this beautiful slide. So, Faul Atf denotes tartib, taqib. Tartib, taqib. So sequence and quick succession, that what happened afterwards, right? It will give you a sequence of the events and what was the end result as well. Faul istinafia, two separate sentences, different in meaning. They will bring you different meaning. So here, the first sentence, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed them with a soleh olad, they made for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with him partners. فَتَعَالَى اللَّهُ وَمَّا يُشْرِكُونَ. And the sentence that comes after fa, which is fa istinafia, is about the praise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? Is a jumla fail madin that is talking about Allah himself, not talking about those two individuals that were given olad, right? Then we learned about Fau Talilia. How will you translate Fau Talilia? Anytime if you are confused about Fa and you get a meaning, this meaning, you know that your Fa is Fa'u Talilia. The meaning is because or but. If you have because in the meaning, that is Fa'u Talilia. If you see Ism Mosul and its khabar has Fa attached to it, what are you going to think about? Foul waqia, that can also be labeled by foul zaida by some of the grammarians. Okay? Is this clear? If you see a fa and you see a very rapid succession, that the sentence, one thing happened, and then there may be many events that happen in between the two sentences, you are going to think about foul fasiha. This is a very special fa that we have not gone over. It's the most difficult one too, that is hiding in it a sentence that is ma'tuf alayhi, a sentence that is ma'tuf alayhi, or a sentence that you can also call it, it can also have hidden jumla shartiya in it. Do you remember in the last week when I was doing this verse, فَلَا يَصُدُّنَّكَ عَنْهَا مَنْ لَا يُؤْمِنُ بِهَا وَاتَّبَعَ هَوَاهُ فَتَرْضَى, and I said there is a sentence, think about it as in akamtis salata, if you establish prayer, then do not let the one who does not believe stop you from it. Did I say that? Do you remember me saying that? Right? So this sentence, how do I know that there is a possibility? Did you notice? Inna sata atiyatuna kadu ukhfiha litujza kullu nafsim bima tas'a. There is very rapidly things are flowing, right? And then comes a fa, and then comes something after it that is connecting you again to a salah. But how do I assume that this was there hidden? Because the fa can be foul fasiha, and it can have a shart hidden in it. Okay, it's a difficult far as I've already given you a disclaimer. You will need to listen to this recording few times, I would imagine, if you really want to learn this. So if you come to this case when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is narrating the story of Musa alayhi salam in Surah Al-Baqarah, فَقُلْنَا اضْرِبْ بِأَسَاكَ الْحَجَرِ فَانْفَجَرَتْ min husnata ashara aynan. So when you see here, we told him to strike the hajar, the stone, with your asa. Fang fajarat. Do you think that he did something and then the 12 springs gush forth? What was that? He hit, right? Right? If you think about it, there was daraba, fang fajarat, right? Daraba, he hit, fang fajarat, min husnata asharata aynan, right? So darabaha, yes, daraba or darabaha was missing. You all understand it like that? Does it make some sense? You will see the story. This far is going to be expected in the places when there is a rapid flow from one story to another, and you will notice that some information is missing. There is nothing missing from Quran, but there is sometimes there is a method. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, his speech is concise. He gets out a lot by saying very few words. He chose Arabic for the same reason, because you use one word and you can say with one word so much. For example, fi, fulfill. So there's a whole, just by letter you are giving a command with foul failure, right? So that fa that has a um, sentence hidden with it is going to be called foul fasiha. And I'm going to go over it again, inshallah. Then your foul zaida is there for beautification of a word and is seen with faqat. And as we have learned in our last session, that this foul waqiya can also be labeled as foul zaida. I was asked this question that, can it also be seen with ma and man? I particularly did not see, but I may have said that, ma al mawsula is usually not seen as mubtada, but it is seen as mubtada as well. I then was, reminded of the verses ma in ma indakum. There's a verse. Okay, what is with you is going to end, is going to perish, and but with what is with Allah is going to remain forever. So the ma can be used as mubtada, but not commonly we see the khabar of ma having foul waqia. It's very commonly seen with the khabar of ismu mawsul allazina, allazi, or allati, or allai. So keep that in mind. Then comes your foul failia. It is a fail. Just one letter is a fail. Failul amr wal file damir mustatir anta fi. Okay. Then comes your faust sababiyya, and we have gone over it in our last session as well. And it is preceded by nafi and asalibu talb. And I hope now I don't need to repeat those. And then comes your faw rabita, and there are very special cases when you find faw rabita in your jawabu shart. And the main thing that you need to know is that it's going to be, if you're present, if your jawabu shart is not beginning with mudare majzoom or fail madin. Any questions? Either you understood everything or you did not understand anything. Yes, absolutely. Some people, they are able to do good because they are also very good with their word to word. So, let me tell you, my dear sisters, you guys were sending me a question, and I will want to end with that question today's session. Somebody asked me a question in our group that what is the purpose of Rahma, right? So Rahma sometimes is written with the open ta masbuta, and sometimes it is written with ta marbuta. Should it change anything about Rahma? How is it written? May have some implication which Allah knows and we don't know, but grammatically there is not going to be a change. Let me tell you one one thing I would want you to learn today. Um, I will want this session to end with this because this is very important because this keeps on coming and yeah, so don't confuse Rasmul Khat with grammar. Sometimes there will be some implications that you can drive, like with Aliful Faraka, we have learned some of the important and very important concepts. The Aliful Faraka is not there, what implication can it bring and all that. But usually, just don't generalize anything. Okay, so this Amma, let me tell you that. And that is going to I hope answer some of the questions that people do have on different forums, inshallah. So this one, amma lazina amma this one, amma ishtamalat alayhi arhamul unsatain. Can this amma, this, where is that amma? Now I put, where is that? Okay, this one. This amma, can it be, sorry, I'm not very good with that. So my dear sisters, can it be shartiya? My dear sisters, so what is the problem with this, Sister Shamim? Why cannot this be shartiya? Your answer is right. Your answer is right. Don't. Yes. Do you remember one of the few cases where it is wajib to be for a maful bihi to be muqaddam? If you give me that reason, I will take your answer as a correct answer. Don't give me an answer without your correct concept. Always remember now with this. You have a jumla failure, my dear sisters. Shamim, Faiza, Sister Zohra, I want everyone, Sister Ambreen, everyone's attention, please. You are seeing Amma followed by Jumla failure. But in Amma, it is mandatory for maful bihi to be muqaddam if it is in amma shartiya present in jumla fi'liya. It is wajib. It is one of the cases where it is wajib for maful bihi to be muqaddam. You don't see amma right out, and jumla fi'liya right after it. Maful bihi is usually muqaddam. In most of the cases, you will find it. But then this word is actually not amma shartiya. It is plus ma. Plus ma. Yes, amma comes with an ism after it. You will see an ism after it that is either rough in status, that is either jar in status, or have a jar majroor condition case, or it's only going to be a jar majroor case or something like that, or it is going to be nasb in status. After amma, if you go back to your notes, there's going to be an ism. So istamalat, is it an ism? No, so that is the reason why it cannot be a masharti. It's a past tense. Barakallahu fi. I think, oh, so that's what you were correcting your answer. I think I did not realize. Barakallahu fi. So now everyone is with me that if it was amma shartiya, there was a ism after it. It's supposed to be an ism after it. What kind of amma this is? This is a word plus ma. This word, when the word is written together, two words are written together. This is an example of maqtu words. Mausul words. Okay, this is an example of a word that is mausul. Just like sometimes you see innama, and sometimes you see inna plus ma written separately, right? So when a word is written together, it's going to be called mausul. When a word is written separately, it is going to be called maqtu from qata'a. Qata'a means to cut. Allah has cut the word and has written it separately because Quran is preserved in its writing as well. Keep that in mind. Okay. It is important to learn other sciences of Quran as well, not just the grammar. So subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Take care.